We said what needed saying until there was nothing left. Every sentence found its place, every breath.
I used to fear the moment when the talking would be done. I didn't know what followed once the words were gone.
I don't feel unfinished here. After the words are gone, we're still here. Nothing asking for attention, nothing unclear. If this silence is what follows, we let it be. After the words are gone, you and me.
I filled so many evenings with explaining how I feel, afraid that if I stopped speaking, it wouldn't be real.
But this quiet doesn't frighten me.
It doesn't feel like loss. It feels like something finally at rest.
Some closeness starts
After talking,
after the words are gone.
nothing breaks.
The calm just settles deeper
And stays. If this is all that remains, it's enough.
after the words are gone.
It's us.
I thought silence meant distance.
I learned it can mean trust.
I don't search your face for answers.
I don't need another sign.
Everything important already crossed the line.
I don't feel the urge to continue. What is finished clean? This feels like the truest part of what we mean.
I don't miss the conversation.
I don't miss the proof.
I feel closer sitting quietly.
Next to you,
I've learned how often love arrives
after the last word, when nothing needs to travel or be heard. Maybe love speaks loudest when it stops.
after the words are gone. We remain, nothing left to clarify or explain. If this silence holds together, it's true. After the words are gone, me and you.
No words.
Still here.
Agreed. We stay.
After the words are gone,
Let the night remain
unexplained and gentle.
unchanged. If the morning comes too soon,
We'll meet it as it goes.
after the words are gone, and love knows.
Nothing needed to be said, it already was. Everything important had passed between us. I used to wait for language to close the night. I didn't know how complete it felt without the light.
I didn't reach.
Nothing needed to be said, we were there. Nothing missing in the silence, nothing bare. If this was all that remained, we let it be. Nothing needed to be said, you and me.
I've spoken when silence was already kind. I've filled the air out of habit, not mind. But this felt finished before I tried, like something settled once I stayed inside.
Some know your eyes.
After
Nothing needed to be said,
nothing asked.
the moment held itself and lasted. If this calm didn't call our names, we stayed instead. Nothing needed to be said. I thought love needed words.
I learned it needed presence.
I don't replay the evening, I don't return.
I let it stay exactly what it was. I don't carry this moment into tomorrow. I trust the way it rests without sorrow.
I don't fear the silence ending or going thin.
I don't fear love losing shape within.
I've learned how often truth survives by being still, by not asking anything at all.
Maybe love and speaking first,
Nothing needed to be said,
and nothing moved.
the quiet held us and proved. If it stayed because
It's true.
nothing needed to be said.
Female, still
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
We
Nothing needed to be said, let the night dissolve. Unexplained and gentle, resolved. If the morning never asked,
we
let it go. Nothing needed to be said, and love knows. night had already finished before we stood to leave. Everything important had already been. I thought endings asked for movement, for a final sign. I didn't know how natural it felt to stay behind.
The room was almost empty, the light was low, and nothing felt unfinished once we stopped to go. I didn't reach for more,
so we stayed in the quiet. After everything, no direction, no conclusion, no opening.
if this was all the night required, we let it be.
So we stayed in the quiet, you and me.
I've learned how often leaving feels like the safe reply, like staying too long asks why.
But this didn't feel like waiting or holding on. It felt like something settled once the reason was gone.
You didn't look for meaning, you didn't ask. You stayed like the quiet itself could last.
Some closeness remains after.
So we stayed in the quiet, and nothing broke. The calm just rested between us, unspoken.
If the moment didn't ask us to move or see, so we stayed in the quiet
and let it be. I thought staying meant wanting more.
I learned it can mean enough. I don't feel unfinished here, I don't feel behind. This feels like something complete without a line.
I've lived inside departures that felt rehearsed. This feels like something gentler, unrehearsed.
I don't measure how long we sit or why. I trust the way the quiet holds us inside.
I don't fear the silence thinning or drifting away. It feels like something choosing us to stay.
I've learned how often peace arrives when nothing's said, when the night is allowed to be what it is instead.
I don't wait for this moment to change its shape. I let it remain exactly this way.
Maybe love doesn't leave, it settles. So we stayed in the quiet, and it stayed too. Nothing leaving the room, nothing new. If this was all the night became, we didn't mind.
So we stayed in the quiet, outside of time. Still here,
No reason,
no fear.
we remain.
We stayed in the quiet, let the night remain unexplained and gentle.
If the morning came too soon, we met it as it goes. We stayed in the quiet,
and love knows.
We reached the end of speaking long before the night was done. Every thought had found its place. Everyone.
I used to think love faded once the talking stopped. I didn't know how much could live after the last word dropped.
I don't feel this ending. Long after the last word, we're still here, nothing asking to be named, nothing unclear.
If this silence carries us,
We let it be. Long after the last word, you and me.
I watch conversations end and closeness leave. I thought quiet meant forgetting or retreat,
But this feels different. It doesn't close. It feels like something settling and slow.
some love remains after sound.
Long after the last word, nothing fades. The calm just stays between us, unchanged. If this is all the night becomes,
We don't disagree.
long after the last word,
It's you and me.
I thought words were what held us.
I learned they were just the door.
I don't feel the need to return.
To what we said, everything important already led.
I don't archive this feeling for another time.
I stay where it's quiet and mine. I don't fear the quiet future after tonight. I don't fear love losing shape in the light.
I trust what stayed when words fell away.
I I trust what remains when nothing asks to stay.
Maybe love finishes speaking
Before it begins, long after the last word. Let the night remain unexplained and gentle, unchanged. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes, long after the last word. And love knows.
I've watched so much fall away once the noise was gone. I learned how little of it mattered once time moved on.
I thought what stayed would be dramatic or hard to hold. I didn't know how quietly things grow old. This feels like something simple that didn't leave, like something still here when we breathe.
I don't feel this slipping. This is what stays. When nothing's said, not the promise, not the moment, but what's left. If this calm is all that remains, we let it be. This is what stays, you and me.
I've tried to save so many things by holding tight. I thought what mattered most would fight.
But this feels different, it doesn't strain. It feels like something choosing us to remain.
You don't guard this closeness, you don't claim. You let it be itself, unframed. Some things last by resting.
This is what stays. Without force, the calm just settles at its source. If this is all the night allows, we don't disagree. This is what stays.
It's you and me. I thought staying required effort.
I learned it can happen naturally. I don't try to preserve this for another day. I don't pull it forward or push it away. I've lived inside moments that vanished when held. Now I trust what stays quiet and felt.
I don't turn this into memory before it's through. I stay right here where it's true.
I don't fear what time removes or what it leaves. I don't measure closeness by what it achieves. I've learned how often love survives by being small, by not needing to be all.
I don't ask this moment to promise or prove. I let it stay the way you do.
Maybe love
remains unnoticed.
This is what stays, and it doesn't fade. It settles in the way we stay, unafraid. If it stays because it's true. This is what stays, me and you. Still here,
No vow,
just near.
just near.
We remain.
This is what stays. Let the night remain unexplained and gentle, unchanged. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. This is what stays, and love knows.
I spent years asking moments what they meant to be. I waited for them to explain themselves to me.
I thought meaning lived in answers and something said aloud. I didn't know how heavy questions were until they bowed.
This feels like something settling without demand, like understand arriving unplanned.
I don't feel the need to ask.
This is when meaning stops asking
And stays
nothing reaching for direction, nothing
to say.
if this calm doesn't question itself.
We let it be.
This is when meaning stops asking.
You and me. I've chased clarity in circles, afraid of standing still. I thought if I stopped searching, nothing would feel real.
But this feels clear in a quieter way, without reply, like truth that doesn't argue or try.
You don't ask what this is called. You don't ask why. You sit like the question has passed us by. Some answers arrive without words. This is when meaning stops asking,
and nothing fades.
the calm just settles deeper
And stays.
If this is all that no one requires, we don't disagree. This is when meaning stops asking, it's you and me.
I thought meaning needed certainty.
I learned it can need silence.
I don't pull this moment apart to understand.
I don't step outside of it to take a stand.
I've lived inside explanations that never held. Now I trust what feels complete, unspelled.
I don't ask this feeling to justify its place. I let it stay exactly as it stays.
I don't feel unsure when questions fall away. I don't feel this closeness weaken when it stays this way.
I've learned how peace sometimes lives in letting go of needing everything to show. I don't fear the quiet answer that doesn't speak. It feels like something steady and deep. Maybe love knows itself already.
This is when meaning
Stops asking,
and it holds.
it keeps us steady without control. If it stays because it's true.
This is when meaning
Stops asking, me and you.
no questions.
No need,
Still here.
still here.
Agreed.
Agreed. We know
This is when meaning stops asking. Let the night remain unexplained and gentle, unchanged. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. This is when meaning stops asking.
and love knows.
I've tried to be understood by being clear, by making sure every feeling could appear. I didn't know how deeply someone could see me through without a question asked or a cue.
This feels like recognition without demand, like being known without being scanned.
I don't feel examined here.
We recognize each other quietly.
No need to explain, the calm just finds its place
And remains
if this knowing doesn't speak.
we let it be. We recognize you and me. I've searched for recognition in the sound, in the way someone would say my name out loud. But this feels different, it doesn't ask. It feels like something familiar at last.
You don't need confirmation, you don't wait. You see me in the quiet and stay.
Some know it arrives softly. We recognize each other quietly, and nothing fades. The calm just settles deeper and stays.
If this is how we're seen, we don't disagree.
We recognize each other quietly. It's you and me.
I thought being seen required effort.
I learned it can happen naturally. I don't perform myself to feel known. I don't shape my presence to be shown. I've lived inside a tension that felt thin. Now I trust the kind of seeing that settles in.
I don't ask for reassurance, I don't test. I let this recognition rest.
I don't fear being overlooked when nothing's said. I don't feel this closeness needing to be led.
I've learned how often love arrives without display, in the way someone stays anyway.
I don't need this knowing to be loud. It feels strongest unmellowed.
Maybe love recognizes before speaking. We recognize each other quietly, and it holds, it keeps us steady without control.
If it stays because it's true.
We recognize each other quietly. Me and you.
I know, no words.
So we recognize each other quietly.
Let the night remain unexplained and gentle, unchanged.
If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. We recognize each other quietly, and love knows.
We reached the end of the talking without noticing when. Every thought had found its place, every then.
I used to fear what followed after the last word fell. I didn't know there was a space that held us this well.
This feels like something opening once the noise is gone. Like the truest part of us begins when speech is done.
I don't feel the need to continue.
This is the space after saying everything. Nothing left to arrange. The calm just stays between us, unchanged. If this silence is what remains, we let it be. This is the space after saying everything. You and me. I've rushed past this moment before, afraid it would feel thin. I thought if words stopped coming, something would cave in.
But this feels fuller than anything we said, like meaning finally resting instead.
You don't look for what's missing, you don't fill the air. You sit like the space itself is care.
Some closeness begins after.
This is the space after saying everything, and nothing fades. The quiet just settles deeper and stays. If this is all the night requires, we don't disagree. This is the space after saying everything. It's you and me. I thought silence was the end.
I learned it can be the arrival.
I don't feel unfinished. I don't feel unsure.
This feels like something settled, something sure.
I've lived inside conversations that never quite closed. Now I trust what follows once everything's exposed.
I don't press this space to move or turn. I let it stay exactly where we are. I don't feel the need to revisit what's already clear. I don't feel this closeness we can hear.
I've learned how often truth appears after the sound, when nothing's left to circle around.
I don't fear this openness without speech. It feels like the safest place to reach.
Maybe love lives after words. This is the space after saying everything, and it holds, it keeps us steady without control. If it stays because it's true. This is the space after saying everything. Me and you. All set,
Still here,
no words.
we stay. This is the space after saying everything. Let the night remain unexplained and gentle, unchanged. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. This is the space after saying everything. And love knows.
lived inside movement for most of my life. I thought rest was temporary, I thought stillness was a sign. I kept waiting for the moment I'd feel settled enough. I didn't know how calm could arrive without a push.
This doesn't feel like stopping, it feels like return, like finding something familiar I didn't know I'd earned.
I don't feel restless here. Stillness feels like home. Nothing pulling me away, nothing asking me to leave or rearrange. If this calm is where we land,
We let it be.
stillness feels like home.
I've mistaken motion for being alive. I thought love needed movement just to survive.
But this quiet doesn't scare me.
It doesn't close, it feels like something opening, staying close.
You don't reach for momentum,
You don't press ahead.
you sit like you've arrived instead.
Some belonging comes without travel. Stillness
Feels like home. Nothing missing here, the calm just settles deeper and clears. If this is where the night rests, we don't disagree. Stillness feels like home.
It's you and me. I thought home was something you built.
I learned it can be something you feel.
I don't search for what comes next. I don't map the way. I don't feel this moment slipping when we stay. I've lived inside arrivals that never held. Now I trust the kind of stillness that feels settled. I don't need this calm to promise anything more. It already feels like what I was moving for.
I don't fear staying quiet, I don't feel confined. I don't feel myself shrinking when time unwinds. I've learned how safety sometimes lies in staying put, in the way a moment holds you when it's good.
I don't need to call this permanent, to let it be. This feels like somewhere I can breathe.
Maybe love feels safest when it stops moving. Stillness feels like home, and it doesn't fade, it settles in the way we stay unafraid. If it stays because it's true. Stillness feels like home.
Me and you. No rush,
No rush.
no fear. unexplained and gentle, unchanged. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. Stillness feels like home, and love
I've said enough for one evening, enough to let it rest. I don't feel the need to finish what's already said.
I used to search for better endings, better ways to land. I didn't know how calm it felt to stop mid-sentence and understand.
I don't need one more thought tonight. No more sentences tonight. We've done enough. Nothing left that needs arranging, nothing left to touch. If the quiet feels complete, we let it be. No more sentences tonight, just you and me.
I've filled so many nights with careful final lines, afraid that if I stopped talking, something would unwind.
But this feels finished in a different way, like the words did their work and stepped away.
You don't look for something missing, you don't wait for more. You sit like everything important across the door.
Some endings don't arrive, they settle.
No more sentences tonight, nothing to add.
The calm just stays between us, quiet and glad. If this is where the talking ends, we don't disagree. No more sentences tonight.
We breathe.
I thought silence meant something was unfinished.
I learned it can mean enough. I don't feel the urge to summarize what already fits. I don't turn this stillness into something it isn't.
I've lived inside conclusions that needed to be clear. Now I trust what ends softly right here.
I don't pack this moment carefully for another time. I let it stay where it is unlined.
I don't feel this closeness weaken when the words run out. I don't fear the quiet when nothing's spelled out.
I've learned how love sometimes rests in what's unsaid, in the space where conversation finally ends. I don't wait for something else to feel complete.
This already feels like where we meet. Maybe love stops talking when it's sure.
No more sentences tonight, and nothing fades. The calm together in the space we made.
If it stays because it's true. No more sentences tonight.
Me and you.
Enough.
Enough.
Still here.
Us, we rest.
No more sentences tonight.
Let the night remain
Unexplained and gentle.
unchanged.
If the morning comes too soon,
We'll meet it as it goes. No more sentences tonight.
and love knows.
I've watched so many moments fade once the noise was gone.
I wonder what survived when everything moved on.
I thought what mattered most would need to speak or shine.
I didn't know how much could stay without a sign.
This feels like something left behind in the best way.
Like something still here when words decay.
I don't feel this leaving
This is what remains between us.
when nothing's said.
Not the story, not the promise, but what's left. If this calm is all that's standing, we let it be. This is what remains between us, you and me. I've tried to hold on to moments by remembering,
By turning them into something I could bring.
but memory sometimes thins what once was whole.
This feels like something present, something close.
You don't collect the feeling, you don't store the past. You let what's here remain and last.
Something survive.
By staying, this is what remains between us.
Nothing loud.
The quiet just stays centered and proud.
If this is all the night allows, we don't disagree.
This is what remains between us. It's you and me. I thought what stayed would fade.
I learned it can settle.
I don't search this moment for proof. I don't ask it to be more than truth.
I've lived inside endings that erased what came before.
Now I trust what lingers quietly at the core.
I don't try to preserve this by holding tight.
I let it stay between us all night. I don't feel the need to protect what doesn't run. I don't feel this closeness weaken when nothing's done.
I've learned how often love survives without a trace, by staying present in its place.
I don't fear what time removes or what it leaves. I trust what remains between us and breathes
Maybe love is what stays,
after. This is what remains between us,
and it doesn't fade.
it settles in the way we stay, unafraid. If it stays because it's true. This is what remains between us, me and you. Still here,
No words,
just near.
merely
This is what remains between us,
let the night remain unexplained and gentle.
unchanged. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. This is what remains between us, and love knows, and love knows, and love knows.
I used to measure closeness by what I could explain, by how well I could describe it, by what I could name.
I thought familiarity had to sound like truth. I didn't know how known I felt sitting next to you. This feels like something older than words can hold, like something understood before it's told.
I don't feel
Lost without language.
this is familiar without language.
This is familiar without language.
We don't have to say
What the quiet already knows in its own way.
if this closeness feels complete.
We let it be.
This is familiar without language. You and me.
I've tried to recognize love by how it spoke, by how clearly it announced itself or broke.
I learned how often knowing someone arrives before the sound, how comfort settles in without being found.
You don't reach for explanation, you don't check the ground. You sit like you've been here before, unbound.
Some recognition
Doesn't speak.
this is familiar without language.
This is familiar without language.
Nothing needs a name.
The calm just stays between us all the same.
If this is how we recognize what's true,
this is familiar without language. Me and you.
I thought knowing someone took time.
I learned it can take presence.
I don't ask how we arrived here. I don't trace the path. I don't need the history to make this last. I've lived inside explanations that missed the mark. Now I trust the kind of closeness that feels dark and warm.
I don't try to translate this feeling into sense. I stay inside the recognition and rest.
I don't feel this closeness fading when nothing's said.
I don't feel the moment we can unthread it.
I've learned how safety sometimes lives in being known without being spoken
Or shown. I don't ask this feeling to tell me who you are. I know you in the quiet as you are.
Maybe love recognizes itself silently.
This is familiar without language.
And it doesn't fade.
It settles in the way we sit, unafraid.
If it stays because it's true.
This is familiar without language. Me and you.
Still known.
Still known.
No words. Our own. We know.
This is familiar without language. Let the night remain unexplained and gentle, unchanged. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes.
This is familiar without language, and love knows.
I used to turn every feeling into something explained. I thought if I could say it clearly, it would stay. I translated moments into meaning before they could rest. I didn't trust what arrived quietly, unaddressed.
I didn't know how much could survive without being named. I didn't know how strong something felt when it stayed the same.
I don't need to explain this. We don't translate this. We don't break it down.
We let it stay exactly as it's found. If this closeness knows its place, we let it be.
We don't translate this,
You and me.
I've turned feelings into language just to feel secure. I thought if I understood them, they'd endure.
But words sometimes thin the moment, pull it apart. They ask what should stay quiet to start.
But you don't ask me to define this. You don't ask for proof. You let this closeness live, untranslated true.
Some truths weaken when explained. We don't translate this. Nothing gets lost. The calm just stays between us. At its cost, if it's here without a label, that's enough.
We don't translate this. It's us.
I thought understanding meant words.
I learned it can mean presence.
I don't step outside this moment to see what it means. I don't frame it for tomorrow or future scenes.
I've lived inside interpretations that broke what they touched. Now I trust what remains whole and left as such.
I don't carry this feeling into explanation. I let it sit between us without translation.
I don't feel this closeness slipping when nothing's said. I don't feel it losing shape, unthreaded.
I've learned how love sometimes survives by staying raw, by not turning feeling into law.
I don't ask this moment to speak for itself.
I let it be understood
As felt. Maybe love stays honest, untranslated.
We don't translate this, and nothing fades. It settles in the way we stay, unafraid. If it stays because it's true.
We don't translate this, me and you.
No words,
No words,
just here.
the same.
We trust.
We don't translate this. Let the night remain unexplained and gentle, unchanged. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. We don't translate this, and love knows.
I've known silence that felt hollow, like a door left wide.
Rooms where quiet meant distance, where something had died.
I learned how absence can echo louder than sound,
how stillness can feel like leaving without turning around.
but this silence feels weighted. It doesn't drift or fall.
It feels like something present, holding it all.
I don't feel alone here. This is silence that isn't empty. It doesn't pull away. It holds the space between us and asks us to stay. If nothing needs to happen, we let it be. This is silence that isn't empty. You and me.
I've been afraid of quiet, like it asks too much. I filled it with intentions and careful touch.
I thought if words stopped coming, something would break.
That love would lose its footing and shake.
But this quiet doesn't threaten me. It doesn't lean or wait.
It feels like something settled at its own weight.
Some closeness lies in still air. This is silence that isn't empty. Nothing missing here. The calm just settles deeper and clears. If this is where the night rests, we don't disagree. This is silence that isn't empty.
It's us.
I used to think silence meant nothing. I learned it can mean enough.
I don't reach for reassurance. I don't fill the space. I trust the way this quiet keeps its shape.
I've lived inside moments that needed to be filled. Now I trust what stays gentle when it's still.
I don't ask this silence to explain its role.
I let it sit beside us and hold. I don't feel forgotten when nothing's said. I don't feel this closeness needing to be led.
I've learned how often love survives by staying calm,
by letting silence be a form. I don't fear this quiet breaking into something else. It feels like something choosing us by itself.
Maybe love sounds clearest without sound. This is silence that isn't empty, and it doesn't fade. It settles in the way we sit, unafraid. If it stays because it's true. This is silence that isn't empty. Me and you,
Still here,
no words,
no fear.
we rest. This is silence that isn't empty. Let the night remain. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. This is silence that isn't empty, and love knows. Love knows. We rest.
We've been in rooms before that didn't hold us long, where closeness felt borrowed like something wrong.
I learned how walls can listen and still feel cold, how presence doesn't guarantee being known.
But this room feels different, like it's seen us before, like it knows how we sit on this floor.
I don't feel like a guest here.
The room knows us, we don't have to speak. It holds the quiet easily. If this moment stays unspoken, that's okay. The room knows us and lets us stay.
I've learned how spaces change when trust arrives, how chairs and corners soften when nothing hides.
I've been in rooms that echoed every doubt, but this one keeps its balance without.
You don't shift your posture, you don't look away. You sit like you belong here, and I stay.
Some places remember how to hold. The room knows us without a word. Nothing here needs proof or to be heard. If this stillness finds a home in what we do, the room knows us, me and you.
I used to think safety was something you built.
I learned it can already be there. I don't scan the space for exits, I don't plan to leave. I don't brace myself for moments I might not keep.
I've lived inside borrowed comfort that felt temporary. This feels like something settled, something steady.
I don't adjust myself to fit here.
I don't perform. I sit inside this room as I am. I don't feel watched, I don't feel weighed. I don't feel this closeness needing to be saved. I've learned how safety sometimes lives in shared air, in the way a room stays quiet when people care. I don't feel the moment slipping when nothing moves.
It feels like something recognizing the truth.
Maybe love leaves traces in places.
The room knows us, and nothing fades. It holds us steady while we stay. If this is all the night allows, we don't resist. The room knows us and insists. Same room,
Same light,
still here,
all night.
we belong. Let the night remain unexplained and gentle, unchanged. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes.
The room knows us, and love knows.
I've spent so long rehearsing what I'd say if asked. I carried explanations like something that would last. I thought love needed reasons lined up side by side, so nothing fragile would be denied.
Didn't know how tired I was of making things make sense, until I felt this moment without defense.
I don't feel the need anymore. Nothing needs explaining. We're already here. Nothing standing between us,
Nothing unclear. If this calm is what we're holding, we let it stay.
nothing needs explaining now. We don't say.
I've turned feelings into arguments just to keep them close. I thought if I understood them, they wouldn't go.
I learned how often talking can wear something thin, how love gets smaller when it's pinned.
But this quiet doesn't question me, it doesn't lean or ask. It feels like something finished, something that lasts.
Some closeness survives without answers.
Nothing needs explaining now, nothing needs a name.
We don't turn this moment
Into something we arrange. If it's here and holding steady, that's enough to see.
nothing needs explaining now.
It's me and you. I thought understanding meant clarity.
I learned it can mean acceptance.
I don't feel the urge to organize what already fits.
I don't separate the silence into parts and bits.
I've lived inside conversations that chase control. Now I trust the kind of love that leaves things whole.
I don't ask this moment to justify its place. I let it sit beside us, unlaced.
I don't feel unsafe when nothing's said. I don't feel this closeness needing to be led. I've learned how often truth appears when words step down. This feels like something solid settling now.
I don't need to know what this becomes or how it ends.
I know how it feels right now, and that's enough in the end.
Maybe love grows quieter as it deepens.
Nothing needs explaining now, and nothing breaks. The calm just stays between us in the space we make. If it stays because it's true.
Nothing needs explaining now.
Me and you,
No reason, no proof, just here
with you.
we rest.
Nothing needs explaining now.
Let the night remain
Unexplained and gentle, unchanged. If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes.
Nothing needs explaining now.
And love knows.
We sit without talking, like nothing needs repair. The room feels balanced with you there. I used to reach for sentences whenever quiet came, afraid that if I stopped explaining, something would change.
I didn't know how much could stay when nothing tried to move. I didn't know the calm had weight until it was shared with you.
I don't feel the urge to speak.
We sit without talking, and nothing falls apart. The silence isn't distance, it's where we are. If this is all the moment asks, we let it be. We sit without talking, you and me.
I've learned to fill the spaces
Before they fill themselves,
I thought quiet was a question,
I had to help.
but this feels different.
It doesn't lean or ask,
It feels like something finished.
something
You don't look at me for answers.
You don't wait for a sign.
You sit inside the quiet
And let it be mine.
Some closeness lives in stillness.
We sit without talking.
And nothing fades.
The calm just settles deeper and stays.
If this is where the night rests, we don't disagree. We sit without talking and breathe.
I used to think silence meant absence.
I learned it can mean arrival.
I don't search your face for meaning. I don't measure every pause.
I don't fear what might be missing when nothing's caused.
I've lived inside conversations that never touch the truth. Now I trust what happens quietly between me and you.
I don't interrupt this moment just to feel in control. I let it stay unfinished and whole.
I don't feel myself disappearing when words fall away. I don't feel this closeness weakening when we stay this way. I've learned how safety sometimes lives in what's left unsaid, in the way the quiet holds us instead.
I don't ask this moment to explain
What it wants to be,
I let it know me slowly.
silently.
Maybe love doesn't speak, it listens. We sit without talking and it feels right.
Nothing pressing forward, nothing tight.
If it stays because it's true. We sit without talking, me and you.
Still here,
No words,
no fear.
we stay.
We sit without talking.
Let the night remain
Unexplained and gentle, unchanged.
If the morning comes too soon, we'll meet it as it goes. We sit without talking